5 years in Cub Scouts, and that's about 12 years of scouting in total. At that time when I joined, troop was mostly Eagle Scouts, and I can identify a whole row of eagles on the Eagle board back there. Over the years, I saw many scouts come and go, and all of a sudden, I was the oldest scout in the troop. I established leadership shortly after. A couple more years passed, and it was 2018, and time was running out as I was going to turn 18 later that year. It was a mad scramble to finish up my last 4 Eagle required merit badges and my entire Eagle project. Long story short, I did it, and here I am now. To be honest, I wanted to quit this troop on 2 separate occasions, and I definitely wanted to give up on trying to achieve the rank of Eagle. But I'm glad I stayed, and I'm proud to be an Eagle in this troop. This is the troop I grew up in, and I'm proud to call it a home of sorts. Thanks to everyone who helped me get here, including my family, my friends, my coaches, my fellow scouts, and the adult leaders of this troop of the past and present. I would now like to personally thank specific individuals who worked with me one-on-one and were key contributors to this achievement. I would like to invite Mr. Greenleaf to come forward. In my struggling in the months before I turned 18, Mr. Greenleaf worked with me personally to finish my personal fitness merit badge and my cooking merit badge. I spent many hours with him working on the package for 2 of the longest merit badges, especially cooking. After finishing the cooking merit badge with him, I determined that it is definitely the hardest merit badge to complete. And for his willingness to help me through it and being understanding in general, I would like to present a mentor's pin to Mr. Greenleaf. Thank you. Okay, my second pin was going to be for Dr. Melendez, but he's not here, so I'll just go with what I wrote for him. Dr. Melendez led me through every citizenship merit badge and helped me finish the longest Eagle required merit badge, personal management. He also helped me and specifically worked with me throughout my entire Eagle project. Without his judgment and aid, my project would have taken way longer and possibly might not even happen. For all the time he spent giving me this achievement, I would like to present a mentor's pin to Dr. Melendez. And the last mentor's pin I would like to give out is for Mr. Don Roberts. Before his death in late 2017, Uncle D worked with me through the personal management merit badge and became a mentor to me throughout 2017. He used to tell me every time I met with him, "You better finish this because I could drop dead any minute." I played it off as a joke at the time, but he was so right. I cried the night he passed away. What he said to me definitely defined his mantra. He gave everything he had to this troop. As he spent his final months mentoring me, I realized his level of devotion to this troop. His health was not getting better, and yet he showed up almost every week until about October 2017. I'm convinced no one will ever be as devoted to a selfless cause as Uncle D was, and for that I would like to dedicate this pin to him in his honor. May he rest in peace. I would also like to thank my parents for being there for me from literally day one. There is no way I could have done it without them. I am soon to enter college at the University of Arizona thanks to their hard efforts, both inside and outside of scouting. Thank you for the love and care that got me here. I would also like to thank the scouts and parents that helped set up the Scout Hut for this event, especially the Hearn family and Miss Destiny. With the pins given out and my thanks have been given, I would like to share my favorite scouting story. Many may think it is from my time at Philmont or the many outings I've done, but it's actually from the last time the troop went to summer camp at Forest Lawn in California. I decided to take the Wilderness Survival Merit Badge with fellow Eagle Scout Ryan Melendez. In that merit badge, you must make a shelter from nature and spend a night in the shelter. Ryan and me had spent hours over a span of a couple days to make a two-man casket out of an old old stone and a shield of sticks. It was the best looking and most thought out shelter the staff had ever seen. I was so excited to use this shelter. That night, before Ryan and me were able to settle in the epic shelter, mice and large spiders suddenly began to crawl out of the shelter. It was evident that the shelter was no longer ours, and we were extremely disappointed. We ended up just laying on the ground with other bugs crawling all over us. Looking back, I think it's one of the funniest and most unfortunate things to ever happen to me, and I'll never forget it. Before I end my tangent, I'd like to give some advice for the next generation of Eagles to make sure you don't make the same mistakes as I did. First of all, log every single outing and service hour in your scout book. It's extremely crucial when you are trying to get the rank of Eagle that you have those logged. Secondly, try to get your Eagle before your junior year of high school, because it doesn't get any easier to get Eagle as school gets harder, and especially as you get closer to 18 years old. Next, stay off your phones. Just wait and see how hard it is to lead when no one's listening. Lastly, and most importantly, don't rush the process. If you spend every trip and outing only focusing on what you can get signed off, you're missing the whole point of Scouts. The requirements will come in good time, so enjoy the camaraderie and the outdoors while it's available. With all that said, I'd like to say thank you all again and have a good night.